We're checking out Old Town San Diego. So we have purchased tickets to the Whaley House here in Old Town San Diego. The Whaley House is an old house said to be America's most haunted house. Of course, Amy is a sucker that's born every minute for that kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see. Stella's going to be checking for orbs.
Checking for orbs. How do you check for orbs?
With a flashlight and a film camera.
Really?
Sam's over there. Waiting out here for our self-guided tour time to begin at the Whaley House. And I just noticed they've got gas lanterns here still going. Of course, there's the old buildings all around that have now been turned into restaurants and gift shops and whatnot, and the Whaley House is preserved.
On the 18th of September, 1852, James Yankee Jim Robinson was the last man to be hanged at this site after being convicted of grand larceny. The simple gallows consisted of two posts, a horizontal beam, and the mule-drawn wagon. Catholic priests conducted the final ceremonies, and Yankee Jim was allowed time to deliver a farewell speech to the crowd that had gathered. Under Sheriff Crosswaite gave the order, and a whip was applied to the mules, leaving Yankee Jim to hang. Mr. Thomas Whaley, present during the execution, purchased this property shortly afterward. By all accounts, he built his brick home where the gallows originally stood.
This is the oldest example of a two-story brick home in all of Southern California. It's very special, it still stands. In 1857, the year that the home's completed, not without its quirks. Unlike these two rooms here, those you can go into, that one on the corner is blocked off of the railing. Day and night, nobody goes in there. But even so, for decades now, we've had guests come here and tell us they'll actually see a woman in all Victorian dress looking out of that window. I think that that's the spirit of young, violent Whaley people are encountering. All right, folks, you want to head on in. Please have a seat on the benches there. Tell you just a little bit more about it.
We need to talk about the Whaley House.
Okay.
We're kind of breaking into the video here. Well, right after Honey talks and leads us into the house.
Okay.
So our tour guide's name was Honey.
Hunny, Honey.
He was a great tour guide. He had some good stories to tell.
Yeah.
But we had a little problem. When we get to the courthouse area, you can no longer understand him. It's a long time since we've been to the Whaley House. We just haven't been able to get the video out because we had...
I think we might be experiencing ghostly activity.
We're having trouble. Never have I had trouble with this microphone.
Or you're doing your video.
These little microphones.
Trouble. Gremlins.
All right, now we're on Stella's phone, but she only has 7% battery.
So we got to talk fast.
Got to talk quick. Honey's voice went very jarbled. It wasn't like a microphone glitch or an audio glitch in the phone. It was, and we're having audio glitches today, but it was more like it just, his voice kind of melded together. And I think it was the room.
Such as this general store in the next room. Brew sold goods and such to early San Diegans was a functioning store at one time.
Ghosts. Chris, I have done a little bit of a deep dive, and we are not the first to have audio trouble. If you had audio trouble at the Whaley House, there's a good possibility that it was unseen forces at work.
So the Whaleys, to kind of keep financially afloat, used their house for lots of different things. There was a general store that they showed us. It was the courthouse for San Diego. And it was also general store, courthouse,
courthouse, theater upstairs.
Yeah,
which was.
Talk about the theater a little.
Okay, Honey did mention that as you're moving about this house, you might smell certain smell. You might smell some perfume or cigar smoke. So we went up to the second floor, and when we all went into the theater room, cigar smoke.
The other problem with audio that we had was I tried to record a guy that was talking to you and was telling you some stories of his own.
Audio.
That audio did not come out to where you could understand it or hear it. But he was sitting next to the living room there. They were telling us that right where that arch is in the living room is where the gallows were, where everybody that was hung in San Diego was hung right about there.
You should never build your house over something so tragic, I don't think.
So they have artifacts in the house that they've found down in the well, like an archaeology team excavated the well. Yeah, they dug up a bunch of trash in the backyard, and there's an exhibit of all the things this archaeology group found that the Whaley family had used. That was interesting.
The kitchen was tiny. The dining room was smaller than I expected. Actually, the whole house was smaller than I expected. If you are going there, I would suggest just, if you're going during the day, not during an official tour, just ask questions and ask the docents to tell you stories. And they have a lot of stories. There's one guy in the parlor was like telling me of just noises he hears when he's in there alone, and
Ooh. Okay.
That's
I think that's
we can clip that.
What is it about Victorian era dolls that are just wrong? They did this on purpose. Now, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
I would assume that it's probably not the wisest thing to build your family home on the property that every criminal was hanged on and make that your living room. Maybe it's not the greatest idea.
I don't see anything wrong with it. They're not alive anymore. Theater room, you walked in and I definitely smelled smoke.
Like a cigar.
Like a cigar, or not a cigarette, but like an old staley smoke.
Musty.
Ghosts
Smelled musty.
smoke cigars.
Ghost stink.
Mr. Whaley did.
He did. That's what the guy said at the beginning.
Yeah. I didn't smell perfume, but I smelled the smoke.
There we go.
And then I said, now...
Definitely, I smelled smoke.
I said, can you feel like, if you, in that room, you kind of feel like a little dizzy because of the warped floor?
I felt dizzy and I felt smoke
And
and
he
I feel
said, oh
sick.
no, that's what people claim all the time.
Yeah, I feel
And
sick.
then he feels sick. Not because of his fish
Because of the
tacos.
tacos.
Not because we ate tons of Mexican food, but
No.
because of the ghosts.
That's what the guy said. He told me all about it. And Dad felt it.
I felt it and I'm sick and there was definitely smoke. Smell. This is totally on it.
The guy said that the Winchester Mystery House and the Whaley House are the two houses in California that everyone
They're
California deems haunted houses.
Yes.
And we have been to both now.
California said, boom, haunted.
Haunted house
The
stamp.
South, boom, haunted. They
Stamp.
said there was enough evidence. And Dan's sick.
Those are the only two.
I'm sick
He's
and I
sick.
smelled smoke.
Well, we're already off on another adventure, but the Whaley House sticker is affixed to the Rondalorian, and it's time to say, show the cats!